Hello, student. Welcome to English Story Time. Today, you'll practice listening with a touching story about silence, art, and understanding. It's a great way to improve your English listening skills with simple words. If you enjoy the story, please like and subscribe for more learning adventures. Ready to start? In a small town in the UK, under the grey skies of November, a baby girl was born. Her parents named her Sophie. From the very beginning, Sophie was different. She could not speak. The doctor said she was healthy, but words would not come out of her mouth. Her parents loved her very much. They tried to understand her in every way they could. Sophie grew up in a house full of love, but outside, the world was not always kind. At school, children did not play with her. They did not understand why she was quiet. Sophie felt alone. She had so much inside her, but no way to let it out. One day, her teacher, Mrs. Green, noticed Sophie drawing on a piece of paper. The drawing was beautiful. It showed a bright sun and a big tree. Mrs. Green smiled. She gave Sophie more paper and colors. Sophie's face lit up. For the first time, she felt someone understood her. She drew every day. Her drawings told stories of her dreams and feelings. The other children started to notice. They gathered around Sophie, watching her draw. They began to talk to her, to ask about her drawings. Sophie smiled. She still could not speak, but now, she had a way to show her heart. Her drawings became her voice. And the world started to listen. Sophie is now 7 years old. She goes to school like all the other children in her small town in the UK. But Sophie is not like the others. She cannot speak. Every morning, she walks to school with her backpack, hoping today will be different. But every day is the same. The other kids play together, laugh together, and talk about their weekends. Sophie stands alone, watching. She tries to join them, but they don't understand her. They don't know how to include someone who doesn't talk. "Why don't you speak?" asks a boy named Tom one day. Sophie looks at him, her eyes full of words she cannot say. She shakes her head and walks away. At lunch, she sits by herself under the big oak tree in the schoolyard. She draws pictures in the dirt with a stick. A girl named Sarah sees her. "What are you drawing?" Sarah asks. Sophie points to the sky, then to her heart. Sarah doesn't understand. "That's weird," she says and leaves. Sophie feels a tear roll down her cheek. She wipes it away quickly. She doesn't want anyone to see her cry. After school, Sophie walks home slowly. The autumn leaves crunch under her feet. She thinks about the day. She wishes she could tell her mom about how lonely she feels. But how? When she gets home, her mom smiles and asks about her day. Sophie hugs her tightly. Her mom holds her close. She doesn't need words to know how Sophie feels. That night, Sophie lies in bed, staring at the stars through her window. She wonders if there's anyone out there who understands her. She closes her eyes and dreams of a place where she belongs. It was a Monday morning in early spring when something new happened at Sophie's school. The children were in their classroom when the head teacher, Mrs. Brown, walked in with a man they had never seen before. "Good morning, class," Mrs. Brown said. "This is Mr. Thompson, your new art teacher." Mr. Thompson smiled at the children. He had kind eyes and a big, friendly smile. "Hello, everyone," he said. "I'm very excited to be here and to start making art with all of you." The children whispered to each other. They were curious about the new teacher. Sophie watched Mr. Thompson carefully. She liked how he spoke to the class, as if each word was important. After Mrs. Brown left, Mr. Thompson asked the children to tell him their names and what they liked to draw. When it was Sophie's turn, she didn't speak. The boy next to her, Jack, said, "She doesn't talk." Mr. Thompson knelt down next to Sophie's desk. "That's okay," he said softly. "Art is a language everyone can speak. Would you like to show me what you can do?" Sophie nodded. Mr. Thompson gave her a piece of paper and some colored pencils. Sophie started to draw. She drew a bird flying high in the sky, free and happy. Mr. Thompson watched her draw. "This is beautiful, Sophie," he said. "You have a special talent." Sophie looked up at him. For the first time in a long time, she felt understood. The other children gathered around to see Sophie's drawing. "Wow, Sophie, that's amazing," said a girl named Lucy. Sophie smiled. Maybe school wouldn't be so lonely anymore. One sunny afternoon, during the school's lunch break, Mr. Thompson was walking through the playground. He saw Sophie sitting alone under the big oak tree, drawing in her notebook while other children played together. Her quietness stood out to him. He remembered how she didn't speak in class but expressed so much through her art. "Hello, Sophie," Mr. Thompson said as he approached her. Sophie looked up, surprised that someone was talking to her. "May I sit with you?" he asked. Sophie nodded shyly. Mr. Thompson sat down beside her. "What are you drawing?" he inquired gently. Sophie hesitated, then turned her notebook to show him. It was a picture of the playground, but in her drawing, all the children were holding hands in a circle, smiling. "This is beautiful, Sophie," Mr. Thompson said. "It looks like everyone is happy and together." Sophie looked at him with hopeful eyes. "You know," Mr. Thompson continued, "art can tell stories just like words can. Maybe you could share your drawings with the class. I think they would love to see them." Sophie thought about it. She had never shown her drawings to anyone except Mr. Thompson. The idea scared her, but his kind words made her feel brave. "Would you like to try?" he asked. Sophie took a deep breath and nodded. "Great." Mr. Thompson smiled. "How about you show one drawing tomorrow in art class?" Sophie agreed. For the first time, she felt excited about school. Maybe her drawings could help her make friends. As the bell rang to end lunch, Sophie packed her notebook with care. She walked back to class with Mr. Thompson, feeling a little less alone. The next day in art class, Mr. Thompson had a special surprise for Sophie. He placed a box of colorful paints and a stack of crisp white paper on her desk. "These are for you," he said with a warm smile. Sophie's eyes widened with excitement. She carefully touched the paints, feeling the smooth tubes under her fingers. "Today, I want you to paint whatever makes you happy," Mr. Thompson told her. Sophie thought for a moment, then dipped her brush into blue paint and started to create. As she painted, her hands moved with confidence. The colors flowed across the paper, forming a beautiful garden full of flowers and butterflies. Mr. Thompson watched quietly. "That's wonderful, Sophie," he said. "Your painting tells a happy story." Sophie looked up and smiled. For the first time, she felt proud of what she could do. The other children noticed Sophie's painting too. "Can you teach me how to paint like that?" asked a boy named Daniel. Sophie nodded and showed him how to mix the colors. Soon, more children gathered around her desk, asking questions and sharing their own ideas. The classroom buzzed with creativity and laughter. Mr. Thompson stood back, watching the scene with joy. He saw how art had brought Sophie and her classmates together. At the end of the lesson, Sophie's painting was displayed on the classroom wall for everyone to see. She felt a warm feeling in her heart. Through her art, she had found a way to speak without words and to connect with others. That afternoon, As Sophie walked home, she carried her new paints carefully in her bag. She couldn't wait to paint more pictures and share them with the world. With her new paints and paper, Sophie began to paint every day after school. She painted how she felt inside. When she was happy, she used bright colors like yellow and pink. When she felt sad, she used blue and gray. Each painting told a story about her heart. One afternoon, she painted a big tree with strong roots. The tree stood alone but looked proud. Mr. Thompson saw the painting and said, "This tree is very strong, just like you." Sophie smiled. She felt understood. Her classmates started to notice her artwork too. "Can you paint something for me?" asked a girl named Hannah one day. Sophie nodded and painted Hannah with her dog. Hannah loved it. "You're really good at this," she said. Word spread about Sophie's talent. Soon, other children asked her to paint pictures for them. Sophie's bedroom wall became covered with her artwork. Each piece showed a different feeling or moment. Her parents were amazed. "We're so proud of you," her mother said, hugging her. Sophie's paintings helped her make friends. The children at school no longer saw her as the girl who couldn't speak. They saw her as the girl who could paint beautiful pictures. Art became Sophie's voice. Through her paintings, she could say everything she couldn't say with words. One day, the school principal asked Sophie if she would like to have an art show. Sophie was nervous but excited. She worked hard on new paintings for the show. When the day came, many people came to see her artwork. They smiled and pointed at the paintings they liked. Sophie stood quietly in the corner, watching people enjoy her art. For the first time, she didn't feel alone. She felt like she belonged. Mr. Thompson came over and put a hand on her shoulder. "You did it, Sophie," he said. "You showed everyone how you feel." Sophie looked around at the people looking at her paintings. She realized that art had given her a way to connect with others. That night, she painted one last picture, a girl holding a paintbrush, surrounded by friends. It was the happiest painting she had ever made. One morning, Sophie arrived at school to find something amazing. Her paintings were hanging in the hallway for everyone to see. Mr. Thompson had carefully placed each one on the wall with colorful tape. There were paintings of sunny days, rainy afternoons, and quiet nights. Each one showed how Sophie saw the world. Students stopped to look as they walked by. "Did you paint all these?" asked a boy named Jake. Sophie nodded, her heart beating fast. "They're really good," Jake said with a smile. Sophie felt a warm feeling inside. Teachers paused to admire the artwork too. "These paintings are wonderful," said Mrs. Green, the science teacher. "You have a special talent, Sophie." All day, people talked about the paintings in the hallway. For the first time, Sophie felt like she was part of the school. At lunch, a group of girls invited her to sit with them. "Can you teach us how to paint like you?" asked a girl named Mia. Sophie nodded eagerly. She was no longer the quiet girl who sat alone. She was Sophie, the artist. Mr. Thompson watched from a distance, happy to see Sophie smiling with her classmates. After school, Sophie's parents came to see her paintings. They hugged her tightly. "We're so proud of you," her dad said. Sophie looked at her paintings on the wall. They were more than just pictures. They were her way of speaking, her way of connecting with others. That night, she painted a new picture, a school hallway full of colorful paintings, with children and teachers smiling as they walked by. It was her favorite painting yet. As the days passed, more and more students at the school began to notice Sophie's paintings in the hallway. They stopped to look at the bright colors and the emotions each picture showed. "Did you really paint all these?" asked a girl named Olivia during lunch break. Sophie nodded, her cheeks turning a little pink. They're amazing. Can you teach me how to paint like that? Olivia continued. Sophie smiled and nodded again. This was the start of many conversations. Soon, other kids like Noah and Ava started asking Sophie about her art too. I love how you use colors, Noah said one day. It's like the paintings are alive. Sophie felt happy inside. She wasn't used to so much attention, but she liked it. The children didn't seem to mind that she didn't talk much. They understood her through her art. During art class, Mr. Thompson noticed how the other students gathered around Sophie's desk. Sophie, would you like to help your friends with their paintings today? He asked. Sophie agreed. She showed Olivia how to mix colors to make purple and helped Noah draw a straight line for his tree. The classroom was full of laughter and chatter. For the first time, Sophie felt like she belonged. At recess, the children asked her to join their games. Come on, Sophie. We're playing tag, Ava called out. Sophie ran with them, her heart light. She still didn't speak much, but she didn't need to. Her paintings had spoken for her, and now she had friends who listened. That evening, Sophie painted a new picture, a group of children holding hands in a circle, with her in the middle, smiling. It was the best feeling in the world. One sunny afternoon, as Sophie was adding the final touches to her latest painting in the school's art corner, a girl named Clara stopped to watch. Clara had seen Sophie's paintings in the hallway and thought they were beautiful. I really like your painting, Clara said with a smile. Sophie looked up, surprised but happy. She pointed to a spot in her painting where a small bird sat on a branch. Is that bird your favorite part? Clara asked. Sophie nodded eagerly. I love birds too, Clara continued. Maybe you can paint one for me sometime. Sophie smiled and quickly grabbed a clean sheet of paper. She started painting right away, showing Clara how she made the bird look so real with just a few strokes. Clara watched in amazement. You make it look so easy, she said. When Sophie finished, she handed the painting to Clara. For me. Thank you. Clara beamed. From that day on, Clara and Sophie spent every art class together. Clara would tell stories, and Sophie would paint them. They became the best of friends. Sophie had never felt so happy. She still didn't speak much, but with Clara, she didn't need to. Clara understood her without words. One day, Clara brought a small notebook. Let's make a storybook together, she suggested. I'll write the words, and you can paint the pictures. Sophie loved the idea. They worked on their book every day. And soon, it was full of colorful paintings and exciting stories. The other children in class wanted to see it too. Sophie and Clara shared their book with everyone, and for the first time, Sophie felt like she was just like the other kids. She had a best friend, and together, they could create wonderful things. The school decided to organize an art show to celebrate the talents of its students, and Sophie's paintings were the main attraction. The hall was decorated with colorful balloons and banners. Sophie's artwork was displayed on big boards for everyone to see. There were paintings of sunny days, rainy afternoons, and quiet nights. Each painting told a story about Sophie's feelings. On the day of the show, many people came. Parents, teachers, and even people from the town wanted to see Sophie's art. These paintings are wonderful, said a woman who stopped to look at a painting of a big tree. They make me feel happy. Sophie stood near her paintings, wearing a pretty blue dress. She felt nervous but excited. Clara, her best friend, stayed by her side. Everyone loves your paintings, Clara whispered. Sophie smiled. Mr. Thompson, the art teacher, gave a short speech. "We are very proud of Sophie," he said. "Her art shows us that you don't need words to express yourself." After the speech, people walked around to look at the paintings. Some asked Sophie about her work. She didn't speak much, but she pointed to parts of her paintings and smiled. A local newspaper even came to take pictures. "Your daughter is very talented," the reporter told Sophie's parents. Sophie's parents hugged her. They were very proud. At the end of the day, Sophie felt tired but happy. Her art had brought so many people together. She realized that even though she couldn't speak, her paintings could speak for her. That night, she painted one last picture, a crowded hall full of people smiling at her art. It was her way of saying thank you to everyone who came. After the art show, something wonderful happened in the small town. People started talking about Sophie's paintings everywhere, in the shops, at the park, and even in the local library. Her art made them feel things without saying a word. A man named Mr. Jenkins, who owned the bookshop, asked if he could display some of Sophie's paintings in his window. "These paintings speak to people," he said. Sophie and her parents agreed. Soon, people walking by would stop to look at the paintings in the shop window. Some would smile, others would look thoughtful. One day, a little boy pointed at a painting of a rainy day and said, "That's how I feel when I can't go out to play." His mother nodded, understanding her son better because of Sophie's art. At school, the teachers noticed how Sophie's paintings helped the students express their own feelings. They started using art more in class. "Look at Sophie's painting," Mrs. Green would say. "How does it make you feel?" The children would share their thoughts, learning that feelings could be shown in many ways. Clara, Sophie's best friend, helped organize a small art club where students could paint and draw together. Sophie was the star of the club, showing others how to put their feelings into their artwork. The local newspaper wrote a story about Sophie and how her art brought the town together. "Art is a powerful language," the article said. Sophie's parents read it to her, and she smiled. She didn't need words to know she had made a difference. That night, she painted a new picture, a town square full of people, all connected by colorful threads coming from their hearts. It was her way of showing how art can bring people together without a single word. One quiet evening, as Sophie sat in her room surrounded by her paintings, she had a big realization. She looked at all the colors and shapes she had created. Each painting was like a piece of her heart on paper. She thought about how people smiled when they saw her art, how they talked about what it made them feel. For the first time, Sophie understood something very important. She didn't need words to speak to the world. Her paintings were her voice. They could show happiness, sadness, hope, and love without saying anything. This thought made her feel warm inside. She picked up her brush and started a new painting. This one was different. It showed a girl holding a giant paintbrush, with colorful strokes coming out like music notes. Around her, people of all ages were listening, their faces full of understanding. When she finished, Sophie looked at her work and smiled. She knew this was her way of telling everyone, "This is me. I'm here." The next day, she showed the painting to Clara. "It's perfect," Clara said. "It's like you're singing with colors." Sophie nodded. She felt happy and proud. That night, as she lay in bed, she thought about all the people who had seen her art. They might not hear her voice, but they could hear her heart. And that was enough. The story of Sophie, the girl who spoke through her paintings, became known in the town. It reminded everyone that sometimes, the most powerful words are the ones we never say. As we finish today's story, think about how learning English opens new ways to express yourself and understand others. Did you enjoy the story? Were there any new words you learned today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.